Hi, my name is Ray. I'm from Synology'Online.com, and if you watched my previous video, my intro video, and talking about how my service is here, I thought actually make a little change, and that is I would go over each model and some common problems that we address here as a service people, and actually how we do it right. So again, I'm at home, as I mentioned in my intro, and I'm not at a bar because, I got to get rid of my bar sign because it may get the wrong impression. But actually, I don't drink, so it's just for pops and drinks that we make at the bar that are non-alcoholic. But anyways, the what I wanted to go over though is the 1813. All right, so the Synology DS1813 Plus. I have coined a term for it. Some may say it's not the best term, but from testimonials from customers, I feel it's the right term. So it's called the flame box. I sometimes used to call it the disco box because of the flashing in it, but no, it's more of a flame box because when customers say they literally saw fire, flames in it, thought the flame box was a little bit better, like a lava box. So, but anyways, we're gonna go over some pictures on it, and actually, C390 is the culprit in this model when it comes to, other than its EDOM problem. This is the more serious one, so I'd rather address this first, and we're going to be doing a lot of videos on Synology service here, so you can get a chance. If you need your NAS service correctly, and we invented every fix there is on these that people are trying to copy, send it here, Synology'Online.com. It gets done in a day. 99% are done the same day and sent out the next day. So, and surprisingly, when we created these fixes, people are doing it too now, copying this and doing it wrong. And believe me, this is another problem that's going on constantly. C390 is an SMD capacitor. Its size is 0805 if you need to buy one. It's a 10 microfarad. It must be an X7R because there is a temperature coefficient involved here. It must be 10% or less, no exceptions. And there's a reason for the 10%. Because there's X7Rs work with temperature, and there's some changes with those. And here's the thing, a lot of people are fixing these or having them fixed by somebody, and they're not putting in the X7R. They're just putting in a basic 10 microfarad. You cannot do that with this, or it's just going to break down in a couple of years, maybe 3 at the most. Now, the thing about this is when you install this capacitor after you fix your unit, and this is another thing I see being done wrong all the time, you do not install it the way you took it out. And I'll show that in the repair videos that are coming up. In fact, when this capacitor is changed, there's another capacitor, C392, that's not too, you can see a corner of it over here, but that also gets changed at the same time, good or not. In fact, when these units come in here and they only have an EDOM problem and they don't have a capacitor problem, these are still changed. It's mandatory. Because that thing's just going to burn up again. So why do we call it the flame box? I think I may have mentioned this, is customers saw fire in it. They actually saw a flame. When this thing goes out, it either opens or it shorts. In this particular case, it was an open. So it started heating up, but then it opened. But a lot of times, and about 75% of the cases, it actually shorts. And when it shorts, power supply is not turning off anytime soon, so this thing turns into a light bulb. And when you got a thing 2,000 degrees practically on a motherboard, it's going to cause some sizzling, some barbecuing, and believe me, it will cause a flame. So now, one thing about this is that you're going to see how this actually looks. It's a little bizarre, a little different. So here we go. Wow, what happened here? Jeez Louise. See what happens when C390 goes. Actually, In this particular case, as you can see, that has this downward drizzle. This board sits upright. These capacitors are on top, but why is there stuff coming down here? Well, if it gets hot enough and this blows hot enough, these cans over here, these aluminum capacitors, we call them can caps, they can get really hot and they actually can start leaking. They have electrolyte in them. It's like a juice, a chemical, and they can spill out and it runs down the board. And that actually can catch on fire as well if it gets hot enough. By the way, every board I'm showing you right here, I have fixed. I actually have fixed this one. This one only took a lot of cleaning. Some cladding was a little off that needed to be done, but all of these were fixed. I'm going to show you some that actually took me a couple of days or a few days, and one that took like a week because it was constantly me digging into the PCB to get the shorted cladding and the carbon. The cladding, by the way, is all of that layers of copper that are in the board. When you have a PCB, it basically is, if you look at it sideways, you'll see there's layers in there, and actually each layer has its own group of copper cladding and traces. So we don't want any of those to burn and short together. I think this board is a 7-layer or maybe a 10-layer PCB. I can't remember. But this is what happens when a C390 shorts. It's not a pretty sight. Now, the next pictures I'm going to show you are rough. So turn off your channel if you don't like to see something bad. Here's one. Look at that. Holy crap. Did you notice the capacitors don't look like something standard? This customer actually went out and repaired his own capacitors. He thought that that was the problem originally. He didn't know that C390 was already shorting inside. He said he saw it kind of looked a little discolored, but he saw the caps look bulgy, so he changed them. He didn't put in the correct ones. He said it ran actually for a couple of months, but actually it turned out C390 finally took a dump. And look at that mess. Wow. This one took me actually 3 days to fix. It was tough. Because the main thing is you got to hope the cladding doesn't short between layers. And actually, if you see this black line here, I actually tore that away because it was shorted there. But if you tear it away, you can remove the short. You know, it's a $400 or $500 1813 plus NAS. If I can spend a couple of days and save it, I'll save it. So I saved this one. I changed the capacitors when it was done. Now, this next picture, a little bit more catastrophic than this one. Yeah, this one, it looks like a full blowout. It really was. There's 2 leads in here, by the way. Don't ask me how the 2 leads got in there. All I know is I got the board like this, and they said, is there a way you can save it? And I said, oh, I don't know. So I ended up saving it. I was shocked myself, actually, this worked out. So, and you can see here, and I think there's another one, I had to peel layers away because they were shorted. These will short through different layers. But I was able to separate them, get them apart, and ended up working. I was pretty surprised myself. But yeah, this was a little bad. C390 cooked the cans that were on here, and those burst, and those spilled out, and now you see why we call it a flame box, because this thing can literally go. Now, in this picture, I passed up though. This one you can see actually was starting to burn, and luckily it opened up. Had that thing burned through, that would have been a big problem. And you don't want that to happen. Like I said, there's like, you can see some of the black down here starting, because when this thing glows like a light bulb, you don't want to touch it. That'll take skin off. By the way, when these come from the factory, brand new, C390 gets hot all the time. It's been like that for years. I mean, it's a 12-volt section that powers the hard drives. This is actually the filter for your hard drives. So since it comes from the factory already hot to where you almost can't touch it, as it ages, it's hotter. As it begins to break down, they get dry rot. They just get natural breakdown from constant use. and they either open or they short. And in this particular case, it started shorting, but then luckily it broke open, so saving the board. And like I said, when you replace this, you see this picture, how it's there, you do not replace it like that. So if you've ever had your board serviced by anyone else, Synology does not recommend you to replace it the way it looks. And I'll show you that in an upcoming video, how you're supposed to replace that, how you're supposed to change 392 as well. This is C390, 392. Let me see if I can show. Oh, here's a better 392's over here. That also has to get changed. It's a lower voltage section of the hard drives that it handles. I think it's the 5-volt section, but this is the 12-volt section of the hard drives, and it takes really heavy load compared to 392. When your board comes for service, and let's say it's just an EDOM issue, any board that comes here, these parts are changed automatically. It's just part of the flat, full rated service on this. So, and we don't do fix something that's just broken. We do the preventative stuff. So actually, it has to be done completely so that this thing never comes back 5 years, 10 years from now. So unless you change the power supply, of course, those are only rated for like 12 years. And a lot of people have had them longer. So anyways, my territory, by the way, are the Americas and Pacific Rim. My partner in Germany handles the rest of the planet. And like I said in my intro, I do get a lot from the UK. So actually my biggest ones that are international are Australia and the UK. So, and I do a lot of edu.orgs and all types of charitable groups. So, but anyways, I just want to let you know there's going to be some upcoming videos. Going to be quite a few. So you're going to get a chance to see this, talk about it. If you make comments below, I will answer them as best as I can. And again, this must be a 10 microfarad X7R, 10% or less. And I'm telling you right now, from what I've seen out there, nobody's putting those in. It's necessary. You have to put the correct part. And you cannot install this capacitor the way it came out. Even if it looked good, it cannot go. Let me see. See, this one's a good picture, actually. But see how this capacitor is here on the board? You cannot reinstall a capacitor so it looks like that anymore. And I'll explain why that is later. Thank you for watching, and look forward to seeing you in the upcoming next videos.